I wanted to just finish what I'd started saying. I won't go into the back onto the Old Testament is about you until tomorrow evening. I just wanted to let people know why there'd be no broadcast the past month while I was traveling at several conferences in Europe and the Middle East. I had been talking about the barcode superstition, which actually became something of a cult, in particular in Russia, and caused a lot of strife in many places. And it was a superstition, not very well thought out. The trouble with crying wolf every time something new comes along and saying, oh, this is the mark of the beast, this is the end of the world, this is the Battle of Armageddon, or any of these things. We're used to hearing them more from Protestant, fundamentalist Protestants who get hysterical quite easily. And everything is the sign of the times and that sort of thing. But the trouble is that crying wolf all the time about every new thing that comes along desensitizes people, so that when something genuinely serious comes along, people are no longer willing to listen because they've heard you cry wolf far too many times. And this really is what has happened now in the case of the barcode cult, or the barcode superstition, that many people and church leaders are not willing to listen to the problems with the new microchips. And let's put aside the eschatological for a moment. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, the microchip is definitely the mark of the beast because it can be implanted in your earlobe or something like that. It's true, of course, it can be planted in your earlobe. Whether it's going to turn out to be the mark of the beast or not isn't the whole issue. Part of the issue is that these microchips contain a huge amount of information about you. They can be read not only by those who are supposed to be reading them, but they can be read by criminals. Criminals can get your bank card number because when they pass their own bank card through a bank card reader in a supermarket or another store, they put a little magnetic device onto the bottom of it, unseen by the clerk, and it picks up all the information from succeeding bank cards that are run through the slot on the machine. So with microchips now, we've been told that we have to have a passport when we go to America from Canada. And we've been told that if we have particular kind of driving license with a microchip implanted in it that has substantial amount of information about us, we won't need to have the passport. As we drive through the scanner, crossing the border, can read our microchip and make a national agency check of some kind to see if we're criminals or anything like that. And then we can drive on across the border. Now, these microchips are programmed also to be used in supermarkets and in other applications. The criminals will always find a way to obtain a microchip reader and read these microchips off from some distance. Consequently, all the information that is placed on these microchips will be available to criminal elements, to people who want to steal your identity, and to, of course, the advertising industry and the government agencies who have no business knowing this much about you. So it's a radical violation of privacy to begin with, and also a way of controlling people. Having a microchip in your driving license can be the same thing as the old Soviet communist internal passport, only much more effective at tracking people than the internal passport of the communist era. So it poses a number of questions and dangers. It, of course, could be what the mark of the beast will consist in. It could be that it'll become the only way to actually purchase things in the marketplace. We have no idea. We do not need to start a cult or a superstition about microchips in order to be very wary of them. They're dangerous things. To have that much information available to anybody with a microchip scanner and reader is really a very poor idea, and I think it should be resisted. So I just wanted to close with that, and again later on we will take up, probably tomorrow evening, The Old Testament is About You. We'll likely skip the books that give long list of the laws and regulations for the moment. There will be opportunity to discuss Numbers, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, all this a little bit later. But for now we'll finish this evening with this little discussion about superstitions, and tomorrow evening we'll take up again from the book of Joshua. The Old Testament is about you. So thank you, and I'm glad to be back home and back on YouTube broadcasting again. And we'll hope to hear from more of you. Several of you have written whilst I was gone. There have been a number of new subscribers, and I would like to simply welcome all the new subscribers to these broadcasts. Those of you who wrote because they thought perhaps I was ill or something was wrong, that the broadcast hadn't been seen for so long, any new ones. Thank you very much for your prayers and for having written. And we should be back steady until September now, before I'll be going anywhere else for any conferences. So thank you for your new subscriptions. Welcome to the broadcast. Let us hear from you and hear what you'd like to talk about. I think we'll do 10 more on the Old Testament is About You, and then we'll go on to a different series. So thank you, and Christ is risen, and keep us in your prayers.